Mhm. So before going to Arduino, I would like to start with embedded systems actually. Uh, Embedded systems and IoT, both we can talk about. So first thing I would like to talk about is embedded systems. So basically, we have seen PCs and we have seen mobile phones, which are generally used by us. So these all things will be having embedded devices. These are all embedded devices actually, and also this will internally be also having embedded devices. So if I speak about computer or mobile device, um, first thing I would like to say is we have a processor. We all know that we have processors which will be actually processing the data, and also we have several other devices like we'll be taking the GPIOs, means we'll be using a mouse, we'll be using a, keyboard, and we'll be using RAM, ROM, all those things. So all these things will be interfaced with our processor, and this constitutes an hardware. And if I talk about a keyboard or a mouse, then it will individually have some controller which will actually take the means it will actually read. If I take a keyboard, it will be reading the key values, all those things, and it will be passing this data to our main processor. So if I talk here, we have two subsystems. One is a controller which actually reads your keyboard, everything, keyboard keys, and it will give the data onto to the further processor. So keyboard will be having a controller which will be actually reading the your ABCDs, everything, and it will be passing this data onto your main processor. Main processor is whatever the Intel. If I talk about Intel processors we have, so that will be again taking the data through the OS. OS will be actually managing all the resources of the PC. So it will be reading and it will be showing that data onto your screen. So uh, so what can I say is we have if you have a computer is also an embedded device. It will be having a processor, and it can do multiple processings, and it can read the data, and it can show the data onto the screen, all these things. And we can say that it consists of a hardware. On top of that we have a OS, and on top of that we have an application. So for hardware also to work, we have some firmware which I told, reading of keyboard, all those things. So it will actually be reading using some firmware, and that data will be passed on to the OS, and OS will in turn pass it on to the application. So this is the basic of embedded system. So if I talk about some automatic washing machine kind of a thing, automatic washing machine also will be having three things. Basically, I'll talk about three things. One is a sensor, actuator, and also a controlling device, such as a processor or a controller, whatever it might be. So, if I talk about automatic washing machine, uh, normally, if you put some detergent into your water, it will be base. So if you add detergent to your water, it will become a base. So pH value of that base will be normally 14. So if you go on add impurities to it, the pH value goes below 7. If it becomes below 7, then it is a acid, and above that it will be a base. So I'll be using a pH sensor. pH sensor will be actually reading your pH values continuously. And actuator, this is a sensor. pH is a sensor, and actuator, I can say some relay which is controlling your
Alphanumeric? Do you want to go ahead? The presentation is on title screen, or you
Yes,
have?
yes, yes. No, I'm just talking about the basics.
Okay, okay.
So
I thought you were
yeah,
showing.
yeah,
Okay.
yes. So we have an actuator relay connected to the motor or something like that, and when the pH value becomes less than 7, then we'll be switching off the relay. So basically, we have three things here. One is the controller, controlling device, which takes the inputs from the sensor, and we have a program which will be continuously checking what is the pH value, and as the machine rotates and as the base becomes acid, that is pH value becomes less than 7, then automatically we actuate the relay, telling that to switch off the relay. So that will automatically switch off your motor connected to your relay. So this is the functionality of an embedded systems. So for this, if I am talking about generally now. So for this, what you have to have, you should have a knowledge of what the controller, how the controller is basically working, what are its registers, and how it will be reading the pH value. We have different communication devices, communication protocols. We should see all those things, and then we'll be reading the value uh, from that particular sensor, and then that data will be passed on. Means that data will be processed, and automatically action will be taken. So for this, you should understand the basics. Means you should understand the what are the registers you have. You should understand how the pH sensor works. All those things you should understand in depth. On the register level also you should be understanding, and then you will be able to do the programming. But when it comes to Arduino, Arduino, if I talk about, it is a prototyping hardware. You can take the Arduino board, and then you can take an Arduino board, and what you can do is it will be having both input outputs, analog inputs, all those things, and it is a board where you can connect the things, and you can, without knowing the internal registers of the controller, or neither knowing the registers of your hardware used, whatever the hardware you are connected. Without that, what you can do is you can program this one. So that kind of flexibility is given by Arduino. So for this, normally, if I talk about C programming, something like that, then you should know means the syntax, all those things. Means you'll be writing a complex code, everything, and you'll be executing the things. But in the Arduino, what happens is you have some specific APIs. If I talk about Python also will be having APIs that will do complex things for us easy. We can use the APIs, and we can make the things work in Python also. So in the same way, Arduino also has some APIs. By directly setting the APIs, we'll be executing the things. We can do some prototype, and we can make it work. Any doubts? Anything to be asked? Yeah. So this is what I told. It is an open source, and also it is a flexible hardware, easy to use hardware and software. Both will be very much easy to be used. So these are the different types of Arduino boards: Arduino Nano, Arduino UNO, Arduino LilyPad, Arduino Mega, Arduino Mini, Arduino Leonardo. All these
So this,
boards are there.
yeah, so Arduino comes with its own software, or how is it? We need to, okay, we can build it from this thing.
What?
Software?
What?
No, this Arduino has a built-in software like, I mean, it has OS, how is it?
No, no. We can. Yeah, we'll be using. we'll be writing our own code using the APIs given by the Arduino open source community. And
Brother, actually, which software we are using for this? That's what his question is.
can you
For the
come
coding
again?
purpose, for
No,
the
I'm
coding
talking
purpose,
of
we
the
are using software. So what type of software we are using? I mean, which software? What is the name of that software?
Yeah, I'm coming to that one.
thanks.
So this is you can see my video also, and you can see my screen both. We have an Arduino Uno with us, and this is our reset pin. This is our USB pin which we are going to use to connect to the our laptop. And this will be a source for your programming your Arduino, and also this is a source for power source. Also, this will be used, and also this will be used as a serial communication serial monitor. Serial monitoring we can do. I'll show further in the slides. And this is our power supply, and these are our digital input outputs. These are our digital input outputs. Here we have analog inputs, and here we have power and ground supplies, all those things. And this is the microcontroller, Atmega 328P microcontroller, which will be programmed actually by using Arduino. And this will be processing our input outputs, everything. And here we have TXRX LEDs, which will be glown when we are programming the device. This is the inbuilt LED, and also this is the power on LED. So you can see the board on my presentation also. So this microcontroller is Atmega 328P microcontroller, which is the actual processing device over in the Arduino. So we have 14 digital input output pins, 6 PWM pins, and the next we have analog pins A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, and then we have uh, analog will be actually our microcontroller will be working on digitals only. So whatever the analog, whatever the real-time signals we have around us, everything will be in analog nature. So that will be converted into digital, and then it will be processed in the controller. So we have an Arduino IDE. So this is what you were asking. You were asking how we will be programming the Arduino, right? So we have an Arduino IDE. So this IDE and whatever the code goes here, that will be called as a sketch. It will not be called as a program. It will be called as a sketch in Arduino. And I'll open the IDE also for you. It will be little slower. Arduino IDE will be slower. It will take some time. So in the Arduino IDE, you have first your button will a compilation. Whatever the program you have written. Participants can go on mute. So second one is your upload. You will be writing some code, and you will be uploading the code onto your microcontroller Arduino. And the third one is your new tab. You can open a new tab, and you can write your code over there. And next one is open whatever already you have written codes. You can open them and you can open from this tab, and then you have a save button, and then here at the last you will be having a serial monitor. Serial monitor can uh, we can enable the serial monitor on some baud rate, and then we can read what is going on, or we can use it for debugging also. Something is going wrong, then we can check and we can rectify from a serial monitor. So this is our Arduino IDE. I'm using 1.8.16 version, and this is your verify. Verify means compilation. Whatever the compilation we are writing the code, we'll be compiling over here, and then this will be uploading. This will be your new tab, new sketch you can open, and then you have open. We can open examples, or we can open whatever we have saved on our PC, and then we have a save button where we can save. And this is your serial monitor. Board is not available, so it is telling COM board is not available. Okay, then we have to set up the board that we are going to use. So I already have it set up. For others, you can open tools. You can open the board and then you can select the Arduino Uno. Tools, board. You can select this Arduino Uno board. So first thing you have to select the board which you are going to program, and then you should have a COM port selected. If I connect a board now, I will connect and I'll show. So I connected the board now. Okay. Now, if I have connected the board, and you can see that power LED is on. This one, green one, is the power LED, and this is the internal LED, board LED, that is also glown. So now it is power on has happened to the Arduino board. So now we can see here in the here it will be showing you Arduino Uno on COM14. So now I'm using the COM14 port for this Arduino. So going further ahead. So basically the code what we are going to write here constitutes of two things. I'll open a new sketch and I'll show. Yeah. Two things will be getting automatically populated. One is the setup, and another one is a loop. So setup one, you will be putting a setup code over here. Like if I talk about the GPIO, general purpose. Participant, can you go on mute? Yeah, thank you. We have two things, setup and loop in our sketch, Arduino sketch. So if you talk about setup, setup will be setting up your board. Like if I take an GPIO, GPIO can be set up as an input or output. So that setup basic one, only once it will be getting executed. Once it will be getting executed. And if you talk about loop, loop will be uh, getting continuously called repeatedly. It will be called, and this code will be executed. So for setting up something, we use the setup, and we write the code in the setup, and If you want to run something continuously, you will be putting that code over here. So yeah, we'll go ahead. So the same I have written here. It is called only when the Arduino is powered on or reset. It is used to initialize variables and pin modes. So this is what it does. Setup does. Loop does continuously run till the power is off. And the main logic of this one goes here. Like while of one, we'll be using a while of one in our C programming. So like that, this loop works. So as I said previously, that we are reading a pH sensor. So pH sensor will be reading on some pins. So that pins will be initialized in the setup thing, and continuously reading the pH value through the code that will be done through this loop. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, we have 14 digital input output pins, and we can program them. We can program them as required. So I'm doing digital write to them. Digital write means I'll be controlling something from my Arduino board. So for that, I'm interfacing an LED, and components required are one Arduino Uno, USB cable, 220 ohm 220 ohm resistor, LED breadboard, jumper wires will be using. I'll show you all these things. 1 minute. Excuse me. Yeah. So this is the Arduino Uno, and this is the USB cable that we are going to use. And this is the 220 ohm resistor, and this is the LED, and this is a breadboard, and these are the jumper wires, male to male jumper wires I will be using. You can see my screen, my video, right? So I'll be using a multimeter. I'll be using a multimeter where I'll be checking whether the LED is working or not, and what is the positive terminal, what is the negative terminal. So generally, we have two pins for the LED. One is the lengthier one is the shorter one. So, this is the lengthier one, and this is the shorter one. So lengthier one will be your positive, and this will be our negative. So I can test this using a multimeter. So if I connect the positive of the multimeter to the positive one, and negative to the negative one, then I can see that LED will be glowing. So this is the basic of LED, and then I'll show you one more thing. Uh, so if you see this one, you are having a 220 ohm resistor. Actually, if you talk about the LED will be having very much less resistance. So if you directly connect this to the digital input output pins, this will get burned. So your LED will be getting burned. So what we'll be doing is we'll be using a 220 ohm resistor, and we'll be reducing the current flowing into the LED. So this is the wiring connection that I am going to give. So you can see here, I will be connecting it to some D7. First, I will be connecting the LED positive pin, and you can see my screen, my video, I think, right? Positive, and I am connecting a negative to the other side. So this is done, and then I am connecting the 220 ohm resistor. Okay. So coming to this breadboard also, this is upper half, this is the lower half. If you see these holes, right? So this vertically these will be connected. Vertically these will be connected, and horizontally these will not be connected. And coming to this one, this will be horizontally connected, and vertically they will not be connected. In the same way, in the below half also, these will be vertically connected, these will be horizontally connected. So now I have connected the positive pin over here, and then I have connected the resistor. I have connected these two in series, and this one will be going to the Arduino Uno, and this end also will be going to the Arduino Uno ground. This will be the positive terminal, this will be the ground terminal. So I'll be connecting now by using the jumper wires, I will be connecting these things. So okay, I connected. You can see my screen, right? Video. Yeah. Now I have connected.
Sir, sorry to disturb you, sir. Sir, please move camera far from there. Yes, sir.
Now, is it
Yes.
okay?
Little bit far from, little bit. Yes, sir, that's it.
Okay.
Sir, if you put other side, it is very easy because if you use experiment, that's why your hands on.
I'll do one thing. Now is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So as I told you, I have connected it to the D7 pin. I have connected to the digital output pin 7, and this is the code. So in the setup, what I'm doing is I'm using a pin mode API, which makes the particular pin either into the input or output. So now I'm using digital write. So I'm using as an output. So I'll be controlling an LED by using by using this pin mode. So now my pin will be in the output state, not as input. So generally what happens is in an Arduino, if you are not using this pin mode, your particular pin will be an input. By default, it will be in some state. So it will be an input state normally. So to make it as output, you will be using this pin mode API, which will make the pin as an output. Next, in the loop, what I'm doing is I'm using digital write API, which will be writing high and low, with some delay I'm giving. Delay as 1 second I will be giving. And this code will be flashed into your Arduino board. Okay. So this will be compiling our program and this will be uploading our program. If you directly use upload, it will be compiled and uploaded into your board. So you can see here, it is telling compiling sketch. Yeah, here it is. Here it will show the progress. What is happening now? Compiling is happening, and then upload will be happening here. You can see the status over here. Excuse me. So now my LED is blinking. You can see, right? So coming back to my presentation, I have given some details here. So if you see this, you will be having one pin mode and your digital write. For you to do this one in the microcontroller, you can do it in microcontroller also. So for doing this into the microcontroller, what you have to do is you have to go and get the user manual or your data sheet of this particular microcontroller. Then you have to read the GPIO registers. So direction register will be there. That will be same as the spin mode. Direction register, whether it is an input or output, that you have to do. And then a data register will be there for that particular pin. So you should know that data register, and then you will be writing the data into that particular pin of that register, such that this LED will be glowing in your microcontroller. If you are doing microcontroller based programming, then you have to know the register set, everything, and then you have to write a program in C embedded C, and then you have to program flash your code over here. But in this Arduino, you will be having just your APIs. You have to go read these APIs. What this you can go to the Arduino site and or directly you can Google what is the pin mode and what is the digital write. You can give as Google search, and then you can see that for a particular pin, you can make it as input or output, and you will be getting your functionality done. Whatever the prototype you are going to do, you can get that done easily by using these APIs. Am I getting, guys?
Yes,
Audience?
yes, yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Okay. Thank you. So in digital write also, see, if you see, you are making some particular pin low or high, that's it. So low will give a value of 0 and high will give a value of 5 volts. Okay. Now, this is the code which I have flashed into my Arduino board, and now my LED is blinking. Either it will be high or it will be low. That's it. No other state is possible by using the digital input output pins. Okay. So next is digital reading. So now what I have done is I am controlling
Sir,
some
if
LED.
sir, if we directly put rather than high, we put 5 voltage, rather than low, we put 0 volt. It is possible.
No, actually, okay, you cannot keep directly 0 volts or 5 volts. Why? Because these APIs will be having some particular format. We'll be using that format and we'll be reading or means we'll be writing the data. So,
A small add-on onto this one. Actually, over here, where where we are mentioning low, low is nothing but it's totally off. And when we are putting high, it means that totally we are owning that one. So it's something like switching on and switching off. Hello.
yes, you are right. That is what I'm telling, right? If you're writing 0, see, if you're writing high means,
It's on.
yeah. Here that's why I wrote makes the output voltage on pin 13 0 volts. If I write it high, then makes voltage as 5 volts. That is what this means. So for this, you can get the details of the API. I'll show you. See, here you have a syntax for this one. Digital write pin comma value. So parameters are your pin, the Arduino pin number, and then you have a value of high or low. So normally what you have to do is you have to get the syntaxes, and according to syntax, you have to give the values in your sketch.
Okay, sir.
So you have to follow the syntax and whatever it tells, right? You have to give the values accordingly in the syntax. If it is telling you high or low, then you have to give high or low only. You cannot give 0 or 5 volts over here directly. Okay. So next, next I'll be talking about digital read. So now I am reading some value. I am reading some value from okay. Now I am reading a value of a button. If button is pressed, I'll be getting some value. If a button is not pressed, I'll be getting some other value. So I'll be using these components: Arduino Uno, USB cable, button, LED. Means I'm controlling a LED also by using this button. I'll be using the same circuitry of the LED, and also I'll be adding a button over here that this button will be reading the value, and that value will be passed on to the LED such that when the button is pressed, you will be getting the desired action. So if I talk about the circuit, yeah. Normally Minute, I'll take the button. I'll show you. There will be 4 legs for the button. See, there are 4 legs of the button. So you can verify by using a your voltmeter, digital voltmeter. You can verify which are open, which are shorted over here. So now if you see this, it is we are not getting any buzzer sound. So these are not shorted, and these two are connected now. You can listen the buzzer sound over here. So coming to the circuit diagram, circuit over here, what happens is you can see my presentation. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We can do this way, or we can do other way also. So normally, see, if you see this one, this is connected to 5 volts. This is connected to the Arduino 5 volts, and you are giving some input voltage from here, and you are reading this input voltage from one of the DIO pins. So we will be reading the voltage from here. So now this is connected to 5 volts. So you will be always reading a high on this pin. Am I clear? So you will be reading always a voltage 5 volts from here. High you will be continuously reading, and this is connected to the ground. This other side of the button is connected to the ground. So whenever you don't press the button, what happens is this 5 volts will be directly read by the GPIO pin over here. And when the button is pressed, right, so this voltage will be going to the ground. So you will be reading a 0 from the digital pin. And in the program, what we'll be doing is whenever it is high, we'll be glowing the LED, or whatever it might be, and we'll be doing the opposite of this one when when we are getting a low value from the digital pin. So we can do in either way also. We can do in the opposite way also. So if I connect this to the ground, then always I will be reading a low value from the GPIO pin. And the opposite one will be connected to, means your 5 volts will be connected to other side of the pin. So whenever you are reading, whenever you are pressing the button, you will be reading this 5 volts uh, from your GPIO. I can show you on a, so okay. So if you see my paper, okay, yeah, you can see my video. Yeah. So normally I'm connecting 5 volts. Whatever the Arduino is giving 5 volts, that I'm connecting to the button. And if you see the middle one, this will be normally open. So whatever the middle symbol I gave, that will be normally open. And other side of that one will be connected to the GPIO pin of the Arduino, and then through a 10 kilo ohm resistor, it will be connected to the ground. So normally what happens is D2 will be connected to the ground, and whenever you read D2, you will be having a low value at D2. And whenever whenever the button is pressed, this 5 volts will be passing to D2 and we'll be reading a high voltage on D2. Okay, guys, clear? This is the base for this digital read. Okay, next I'll be connecting now. So now here digital read will be using pin mode as an input. I can skip this step also, because normally GPIOs of Arduino will be by default as input only. So I can skip this one without keeping this also. This will be working. And then what I'm doing is I'm reading the button state. I'm reading the button state through digital read API. So this is the pin number which I'm going to read, and this API will give the value whether it is high or low to button state. So accordingly, what I will be doing is according to the button state, I am simulating the LED. So okay. Now I am doing the connections. As I said, mm, okay, button I have connected. Then I am taking some male to female connectors. Uh, I am connecting one side to D7, D2, D2.
Participant, mute, please. गुल्ला रेडी हुए बेटे?
So I have connected 5 volts. I have connected this 5 volts of Arduino to one side of our button, and from the other side I have taken a 10K resistor and I have connected ground, and our D2 means second pin of the Arduino is connected as a reference. It will take the actual input, and then I have kept this as same. This LED circuit, I have kept it as same. So now if you see my sketch, we are taking a variable, and we are initializing it to 0. Then we are pin mode I have taken for the LED. This is for LED. I have not taken for input. Why? Because by default second pin will be input only. All pins will be input only. So I didn't take the second pin. So I took only the digital output pin, which is used to control the LED. And then I'm reading this button state by using digital read. Digital read will be using only pin number it will be using, and it will be reading the value from your Arduino board. Whatever is pressed, that it will be reading. So
Yeah.
now I have connected. Now this is normally this value will be 0, low value, and so your LED will be not glowing. So when I press the button, I will be getting a high, and then we'll be making the LED on. So now I'll upload the sketch. This is our previous program running. After upload only, we'll be seeing the changes. So now if you see, we are not getting, LED is not blinking. So if I press the button only, LED will be blinking. Getting, guys? Participants? Shall I continue?
Yeah, please continue, Khalil bhai.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Clear, right? Program, everything is clear for you. So as I'm connecting, Arduino ground over here, and we are reading a ground value. So normally the LED will be off as we are reading a ground value. Whenever I'm pressing, so this 5 volts value is passing on to our GPIO pin. So that's why what is happening, we are able to see the LED glowing. So this is what is happening. So button state is normally low, so that's why LED is not blinking. And if the button state is high, then LED is blinking. Blinking in the sense it is glowing. That's it. Only one thing you can do, either 0 volts or 5 volts by using GPIOs. So that's why you will be either glowing the LED or it will not be glowing. Any one thing will be happening. So going ahead. So these are just the basics I kept. Normally, everything around us will be in a continuous range. If you take temperature, pressure, everything, it will be a continuous value. So we have to convert that into a digital value by using and the microcontroller only understands the digital values. It cannot understand the analog values. So for that, we have analog inputs on our Arduino Uno. So A0 to A5, any of the analog inputs we can use, and we can convert an uh, analog value into a digital value. And this is the and whatever the ADC we have, right? ADC we have a resolution of 10 for our Arduino Uno has an ADC which has a resolution of 10 bits. So 2 power 10 1024. 2 power 10 will be 1024, and we'll be reading the step values. So if you see this, these values are typically wrong. So 0 means it will have some value, 2.5 it will have some value, 5 volts it will be having some value. I'll go further and I'll show you. I have slides over here. So we'll be quantizing the value, and accordingly we'll be taking some sampling, quantized values we'll be using, and ADC working I am showing. This is not required actually, but just I kept. So if you see the Arduino board, it has 6 ADCs, and it is a 10-bit analog to digital converter, and it will be taking values 0 to 5 volts will be scaled on 0 to 1023, as it has 2 power 10 resolution, 10-bit resolution. Okay. I'm using a potentiometer, Arduino board and potentiometer for reading the analog values. I'll be reading the analog values of a potentiometer. So normally, if you, I'll show you what happens. So if you see my if you see this, what happens is there are 3 pins on a potentiometer. First and third pin you can connect to source and ground. Source and ground you can connect, and this middle one will be normally you'll be reading the value from here. So voltage you can read from here. If you keep a voltmeter over here, you can read the values. So if I move this upwards, right, this second pin, if I move upwards, what happens is your resistor value becomes lessened. So automatically the voltage applied also will be lessened. And if I move this to the downside, what will happen is your resistance will increase, and the power dissipated and the voltage also will get increased over here. Clear, right? There are 3 pins of a potentiometer. First one, this is the first one. This is the second one, and this is the third one. So first one will be connected to some your 5 volts, and one side, the third one will be connected to the ground, and you will be having a you will be reading the voltage value from here. So when it is kept in the middle, right? So this will be means this will have a particular voltage. If you move upwards, right, then this resistor value will be lessened, and the power dissipated and the voltage level also will be less over here. And if I move this to the bottom side, right, so this resistor value will get increased automatically. Your voltage, your power dissipation also will get increased. So you can read the values by using a voltmeter. So now what I'm doing is I'm connecting a potentiometer to my Arduino, and I am reading the values. Okay, I'll be showing that one. So I have a potentiometer with me, and this is a 10K potentiometer, and these are the 3 pins. We can connect these 3 pins to our Arduino, and we can read the analog voltage, which is converted into digital, and digital values you can read from 0 to 1023 on our Arduino board. Okay, so now I'll remove these buttons, everything, and then I'll connect. Yes. So now what I'm doing is I'm directly connecting this pin to the 5 volts, and this pin I'm going to connect to ground, and another pin I'll be connecting to analog input from these. You are not able to see, I think. These 6 are the analog connectors. So I connected the middle one. I connected this middle one to the analog input, and the rest 2 I have connected to 5 volts and ground. So now I'll be opening a sketch. In this one, I'll be using 2 things. One is analog read I am doing, and another one is our serial communication I'll be using. Serial communication, for that we have some APIs. One is serial begin. So what is the baud rate required to means what is the baud rate that needs to be that is used for communicating between the serial monitor of our Arduino with our IDE. So we have a serial begin, and we have a serial print, such that the values can be printed on the serial monitor. So 2 things will be done over here. One is the analog read, another one is your serial communication we'll be using. I'm using A1 pin of the A1 pin of the analog inputs. These are the connections done. Next we have analog read. Analog read of A0 used to read the analog value from the A0 pin. So here we have some 10-bit ADC. So we'll be reading 0 to 1023. That is what I mentioned. Already spoke also on this. So this is our code, serial begin 9600. This is the baud rate that we are communicating with our Arduino board, and we are using serial println where we are reading analog read we are using, and we are reading the A1 value, A1 pin value we are going to read, and this will be put on our serial monitor. show you. So now I am uploading the sketch. So now I'm using the serial monitor with 9600 baud rate, and we are getting the values. We can reduce, I don't know, I have some issue, I think, with my potentiometer, but these values will be coming from 0 to 1023. So if I move one side, I'll be getting increased values. Other side, I'll be getting the reduced values. As I said, this knob, whatever the knob is there, by using this knob, I can reduce the voltage applied. I can reduce the resistance applied, and resistance voltage values will be getting changed. But I'll not be seeing here voltages. Why? Because we are reading the step sizes only. Step size I am reading over here. So we cannot see the actual voltages. So for this, what I have done is I have done one more sketch I have, where I am multiplying this step size. Now I'm getting 192, right? So 192 into 5 divided by 1024, if I take step size, that is called step size. 5 divided by 1024, that is called the step size. If I multiply this value with that step size, right? So then what happens is I'll get the actual voltage. I'll show you that also. Here also I have. So what I'm doing is I'm reading this analog value. I'm reading this analog value. I'm multiplying this value by step size. 5 divided by 1024 if I do, then I'll get the actual voltage. As I showed in my, as I showed here, that I'll be getting some voltage. If I keep a voltmeter over here, then I'll be reading the value. So that value, that voltmeter value, I can see by using this code. Yeah. So the sketch I'm using, I'm reading the A value, A1 pin, and I'm multiplying it by the step size such that I'll get the actual voltage. So now on serial monitor, you can see the voltage. So if I move the knob, you can see the voltage is changing. Okay. Now it is in middle, so 2.05 something we are getting. If I change the knob position, then value will be changing. Clear, guys? Okay, now moving on to analog output. We cannot, as I said earlier also, that the microcontroller can work only on digital values. It cannot work on the analog values. So what we'll be doing is we'll be just simulating analog output by using PWM technique. Pulse width modulation technique we'll be using, and we'll be just simulating. So what happened when we were controlling an LED, either we can make it high or low, that is on or off only. But by using PWM, what you can do is you can fade the LED. You can fade the LED. You can or if I say you can control a motor speed. You can keep at some speed, sometime you can keep another speed at other time. So those simulations you can do by using PWM technique, that is analog write. So it will be generating a square wave. It will be generating a square wave. I'll show you that also. It will be generating a square wave, and it will be simulated. So in PWM, what will happen is we'll be having a T on and T off. How much time the signal is on, how much time the signal is low, and then we have a period. So in period, it is a sum of on and off time. So duty cycle is actually required in PWM. So duty cycle is the percentage of time when the signal is high. It is a percentage of time when the signal is high. So if you see this, you can understand more clearly. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping 20% of time high the signal. So my duty cycle will be 20%. If I double this one, it will be 40%. So you can see 40% of time it is high, and other 60% of time it is off. So we can do this by using PWM technique. And this is the 80% duty cycle. This is the 100%. 100% means your LED will be always on. And if you keep always zero, right? 0% duty cycle, your LED will be always off. So either you can do on off, or you can make it fade. As you are controlling a fan, fan also can work on different speeds. So that functionality can be simulated by using analog writes. Am I clear, guys? So what I'm doing is I'll come back to this one again. Analog write, if analog write, how I am doing is according to this potentiometer, according to this potentiometer values, I'll be controlling the LED, fading the LED from zero. I can keep zero, means that will be completely off. After that, I can uh, move this knob such that this will be having some glow. After that, some glow means it can go from completely off to completely on. So that we can do that simulation we can do by using PWM technique. And we are using a pot and LED, same LED whatever we have done earlier. We can do that, and we can do the fading effect. So this can be used to control your motors at different speeds, servo motors, all those things can be done by using this PWM technique. So here, if you see, we have analog write. Zero means duty cycle of zero. And analog write, if you keep 127, 50% duty cycle, 255 means 100% duty cycle. So this we can see in the program also. I'll show you. I'll tell you how it is working. So coming to, I'll connect. I'll make the circuit, and then And one more thing I would like to say here is not all the digital IO pins will generate the PWM. We have some tilde. We have some tilts. You can see in the presentation. We have some tilts over some of the digital IO pins. So only those pins can simulate your. They can generate a square wave. Others cannot generate a square wave. So. Okay. This is already I discussed. Analog right we'll be using and which pin we are simulating and what is the value we'll be giving such that the duty cycle will be coming as an output. One more thing here. This analog right will be normally using means the value of this parameter. If you see the syntax, it is a pin and value. Pin is, as I told, we'll be using the tilde, whatever the tilts we have on the digital IO pins. Those pins only we'll be using for simulating the PWM. And one more catch over here is duty cycle, whatever we are giving, it will be having a value of 0 to 255 only. We cannot change this. I mean, this value is fixed. 0 to 255 values only. This can take. So I'll show you in the program what is going to happen. So now I have connected the LED on our. If you see this pin mode, I have connected the LED on sixth pin of our GPIO, and it is kept as an output. And then I'm reading the port value. I'm reading the port value, and by using analog read we are using, and we are reading the value. After that, what I am doing is we have an API in our Arduino programming, which maps the port value. Port value, if you see, it will be having values from 0 to 1024. This port value will be read as I shown previously also. It will be having values from 0 to 1023. So these values should be mapped to 0 to 255. As I said in digital analog right, we cannot keep values 0 to 1023. So this map API will be used, and this value will be converted to 0 to 255, and this mapped value will be given as an input to analog write. So now I'll be flashing this sketch to my Arduino board. So, okay. So dim, now if you see, it is dimmed, right? You can see, guys. So if I move one side, as the value is getting increased, so now LED is in full glow. So if I turn other side, LED will be glowing little slowly. It will be decreasing, and At one point, it should be off also. Yeah, it's off now. So this is the PWM. We'll be using PWMs to control the speed of the motors, control the speed of the servo motors, all those things we can do by using this technique. Okay, guys. This is what I discussed, map API. You can check in the Arduino portal also, API, how it will be, how this will be used. You just will be giving that variable name, map, number, value, you will be taking the number to the map. Whatever the value analog read is reading, we'll be keeping that value, that variable name, and then we'll be giving from high to low to high. So this is the syntax for that one, and you will be giving the values from which to which we are mapping. And, we'll be giving those values, and it will be mapped. Okay. Now next, this I'll be stopping after this. Interfacing ultrasonic sound sensor. So here, what we can do is we can find the distance of object from 2 centimeters to 3 meters distance. We can the distance of an object by using ultrasonic sound sensor. Uh, Actually, if I talk about ultrasonic sound sensor, we'll be using this to find the time duration. We can find by using this ultrasonic sensor. And what will be happening is from one of the trick pin, it will be triggering a sound, and that sound will be traveling. And when an object is hit, is in between, we'll be finding the distance of that object. So whenever the object is hit, it will be bouncing back, and it will be reaching back to echo pin of our sensor. Ultrasonic sound sensor has 2 pins, trick pin and echo pin. So trick pin will be triggering the sound. That sound will be hitting to our object and coming back. So we'll be finding we'll be finding the time. We'll be finding the time by using this ultrasonic sound sensor. So this time will be used. This time will be used in our distance formula. Speed into time. Speed is speed of the sound, 340 meters per second or 0.03 centimeter per microsecond. So now whatever the distance we are measuring, that will be twice. Why? Because object is there, we are triggering some sound, and that sound is coming back. So we have round trip measurement, time into 0.034. And if I take one way, it will be divided by 2. So now to find the time also, we'll be using ultrasonic sound sensor to find the time actually. So time will be measured by using pulse in API of the Arduino. You'll be using a pulse in API of the Arduino that will be actually measuring the time, and that time will be used in this formula to find the distance. Clear, guys? So I'm taking a HCSR04 sensor. I have the connections. Now we'll connect the Okay. I'll make the connections as in this presentation. I'll remove all other things. Okay. So we have HCSR, HCSR04, and we have 4 pins. VCC and ground will be connected to the 5 volts and the ground pins. And then we'll be connecting the trig and eco pin. We'll be connecting the trig and eco pin. I'll be connecting it onto the okay. 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 This is connected to VCC 5 volts. This is connected to ground. Okay. And then I'm connecting the trig pin and eco pin. This is also using GPIOs only. This sensor will be using GPIOs. Trig pin will be used as an output, and your so trig pin will be used as an output. Trig pin will be used as an output, and eco pin will be used as an input. So we are using GPIOs only. This is a simple. It's very much simple over here. So I'm connecting the trig pin to 9th pin and eco pin to the 10th pin. You can connect it to any pin. I'm using 9, 10 pins. Okay. Connections are done. We'll go back. Connections are done. Then if you see this, I told you, right? Pulse in, we are using one API pulse in that will read the pulse high or low on a pin. If you are using high, then pulse in will wait for a high signal from low to high and high to low. It will read that pulse, and then it will give the duration in microseconds. It will give, and this will give the time, and we'll be using a formula in our code as I showed earlier. Distance is equal to time into speed. So that formula will be used and distance will be calculated. This distance of this object will be calculated. Okay. So this is our code. Trig pin I have connected to 9th, eco pin I have connected to 10, and then I have two duration and distance. Duration means time. This time I'm taking this time from the pulse in. I'm waiting for a high on the eco pin. I'm waiting for a high on eco pin, and I'm reading the duration. So this duration will be used for distance calculation. Distance is equal to duration into 0.034 divided by 2, as I showed in the first slide. So this is a functionality. Okay, I'm uploading now. And I'm using serial monitor only. Again, serial begin I'm using, and I'm sending the same data onto the serial monitor. Okay, my ninth pin broke out, so that's why it is giving distance as 0. Okay, let's see now. It's not available. Working only. Okay. Now it's working. Don't know why it is giving 0. Okay, 1 minute. Check. Okay, not coming. Let me take another distance sensor. Sorry guys, I don't have, I think, one more piece. I didn't check. Okay, it was working yesterday. Mistake. Okay. Now I'm changing, means I'm keeping an object in between nearer. So distance it is showing. It is calculating the distance 6 centimeters, 13, 14, 15. Now it is showing 18. You can see guys, right? Yeah. Now it is showing the 18. As I'm going near to the sensor, it is becoming lessen and lessen. Clear guys? Okay. So, so what we can do is we can use this Arduino board and we can do some basic system level understanding we can get uh, by interfacing different things like servo motors, DC motors, everything you can interface, you can learn GPIOs, you can understand basic functionality of ADCs, you can learn the basic functionalities of PWMs, everything you can do. And uh, once you get, once you are confident that you can connect the hardware, you can do everything, then what you can do is you can use the same Arduino board and you can, in AVR Studio, you can program the Atmega 328P microcontroller. You can use the same board, same Arduino board, whatever microcontroller it is having, Atmega 328P microcontroller, that also can be programmed on AVR Studio. I didn't make any slide on that one, but you can check on the internet and accordingly you can whatever the output pins we have used, GPIOs, analog pins, everything, that same pins can be used, and you can program the actual registers of the microcontroller Atmega 328P, and you can get the same outputs. If you are blinking an LED through this through using the APIs, You can do it by registers also by programming the Atmega 328P in the AVR Studio. You can check on the internet. You have resources. You can do that, and you can learn microcontroller programming on the same board, and then you can move on to some higher level boards. Atmega 328P is a 8-bit microcontroller, so you can move on to some PIC microcontroller, which is 16-bit, 16-bit one, and then you can move on to LPC, which is having 32 bits. So you can learn. You can start from here, and then you can move on to Atmega 328P. Then you can move on to 16-bit. Then you can move on to 32-bit, and you can learn all the controllers, everything, the programming. Okay, guys. Then any questions? I want to stop here.
Hello, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
can I get a PDF which all the programs are written? Possible?
Yeah, you can get, and see, resources, everything you will be having on the internet. I'll
Yes, sir.
show you. I'll show you.
Also, the recording will be shared online on planning.com/mfird. The recording will also be available in
Mohsin Bhai, I think Mohsin Bhai only asked,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mohsin Bhai, we have all the examples also in the Arduino sketch. If you see, I'll open this one, Blink. If I open this one, right, it will be having all the programs, pre-installed programs will be having.
Okay, sir.
So this you can directly use, and you can program the Arduino.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyone else? When you install the Arduino, right? I think you can include libraries. You have to do manage libraries. You have to do all those things. You have to do some inbuilt libraries you'll get for Arduino Uno and all those things. You will be having the inbuilt libraries. For some of them, you will not be having the libraries. So you'll get the resources on the internet, and you can manage the libraries. By adding the libraries, you can add many of the libraries, and you can do the programming. You can do the simulation. You can get a system level understanding. You can do many prototypes also. See here, I open the library manager. Here I can add libraries. All those things I can do. Yeah. Anyone else? Saif bhai, shall we end the session now?
Okay, Abdul Khaliq bhai, I think there are no more questions. So, Jazakumullah khair for this very interesting session. And inshallah, we'll keep on having further sessions, inshallah. And thanks to all the participants also. So, I'll end the session now. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, sir, for your precious time.